Welcome to Dial Park Primary School!
Our school, our future. Our curriculum intent.
With our values at the heart.
Every week, children are awarded with certificates and trophies for their learning linked to values. We want to become well-rounded, restorative members of a diverse community. Is designed chronologically through time and space.
This means in history, the older we get, the further we travel back in time.
Also in geography, the older we get, the further away from Stockport we explore. Every term we are asked big questions about our curriculum. Let's see what the children have to say. What is an explorer?
Explorers are people that travel around the world into different places. In Cookland to New Zealand and draw a map of the island. Helen Sharma was the first woman to explore space and the Queen gave her a medal. Jane got to look after the chimpanzee and found they were like humans. Amy Johnson is a trailblazer who went out on herself without any friends and who went to Australia all by herself.
What was so great about the Great Fire of London?
The Great Fire of London wasn't great because it's a fire. Fires are dangerous. I think Christmas and birthdays are great because you get cake and presents. It wasn't great because the houses were made of wood and they were close together and it helped the fire spread. I think it wasn't great because it burned down 87 churches. After the fire, the houses were made of bricks and the houses were spread out and that's more safer. The Great Fire of London was great because great means big, massive, enormous, and huge.
What impact did the Industrial Revolution have on homes and communities?
So because there was a lot of factories, they were burning coal and they made air pollution. And then that's what made people have bad lungs and bad chests. And then they just suffered. Life in the Industrial Revolution was unfair because only the rich children got educated and went to school. And the poor people had to work in dangerous factories and could get hurt really bad.
There were many inventions such as a light bulb which had a big impact on rich homes because the candle had a risk of burning down their house and hurting themselves from lighting.
40% of hospital injuries in the Industrial Revolution were caused by machinery in factories and mills. So the Industrial Revolution needed better nurses and better hospitals.
Child labour was used in the Industrial Revolution when children were used to do stuff like clean the machines under the machines where all the cotton's been made and all the bits have dropped out. Children had to go under and clean it. One girl, Mary Richards, aged just 9 or 10, tragically got crushed to death when her apron strings got caught in the machine. Backtrack was brought in, which stopped children under 9 working at all. It also meant that children could have 2 hours education a day.
Communities in the cities were getting diseases because people had to share houses and they were all cramped, and people had to share toilets, and this was helping the diseases spread quick.
I think that during the Industrial Revolution, people moved from the cities, from the countryside, to get money and to get a job. But during that, there wasn't enough space for everyone. So they had to live on the streets. Because there was so much poverty, people became so desperate that they started stealing, which meant that the crime rate went up and the place got more dangerous.
How do societies protect their people?
Sir Robert Peel created the police force because of the large amount of crime caused by the lack of jobs available for everyone. This meant that people in poverty had no other choice but to steal to gain their necessities, such as food and shelter.
We've all learned that the Mayans used herbs for medicine to keep themselves healthy.
Anglo-Saxons protect their society by using hewn hay for the top of their roofs for shelter. Because the Mayans built houses and they had to be sturdy so animals couldn't knock them down and kill them. So they had to make them out of mud and stone to make sure they could protect their family.
Well, in the past, for example, the Anglo-Saxons had laws in place. They had to 12-year-olds would take a pledge to never do anything wrong and help chase the wrongdoers.
Okay.
And if they didn't help, they would be classed as wrongdoers and they would be punished for not helping their tithing to catch the wrongdoers and serve justice.
A tithing was a group of people who'd go around the village chasing the wrongdoers, and anyone who didn't do it would then be prosecuted, and anyone who was caught would then be put under court, and to decide if they were guilty or not guilty they would have to take tests like retrieving metal objects from a pot of boiling water. And
in our society, we are protected by the emergency services, which are ambulance, police or fire brigade. When we're in a crisis, we will call them when our life is at risk, when we're in a fire or when we're in a crime scene.
During the pandemic, the government protects the society by keeping us indoors to stop the spread of coronavirus and protects the vulnerable people in our society.
When families are in a crisis, another service that can help is the social services, who provide support for families who need it.
Thank you for watching. There are more big questions and more big answers to come.